Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. Welcome, everybody. It is Friday Junior. Welcome, everybody. Moana, Bozy, Ladybug, John, Lithium. Welcome, everybody. Nadia. Quad Bennett, Heat, how's it going? LNA. Appreciate it. Free Fridays. Indeed. Nadia, welcome. 2324. Oof, that's late. I got banned from a stream by a clown because one of his viewers called me a fascist sympathizer and he didn't even question if I really was. Could you imagine being that misguided? Could never be me. Yikes. Fun fact, the SIO iOS IKIS theme song is GNN's Please Hold Music. Really? Should I open it or should I keep it sealed? Faux Machina, welcome. Yo, did you see the Kimmel's monologue? I thought it was pretty great. No, I didn't get a chance. TikTok deal signed. Was heartfelt and funny. I definitely got to check it out. All right, folks, we got to run. It's on the Discord. Perfect. We got to run, folks. We got to do this. Okay, locked in, everybody. Chat. We need to be locked in for the next like 30 minutes. Okay. Because I got to get out of here pretty quick. It was a moment in history, that's for sure. Heartfelt and funny. I definitely got to check that out then. Folks, do all the things, all the links. Subscribe, share, do all the stuff. Check out my show on this space, 7 p.m. Tuesdays. Did you see John Kipper for New Hampshire governor interview on this space? No, I did not. If it happened earlier today, no, I did not because I have been busy. I'm with Lance 100% on his Jimmy Kimmel return monologue take. Posted. Nice. All right, let's go, folks. Thought he had a good command of the issue and how to convey them. Nice. We begin today's stream with obviously a important topic, which is video games, of course. TikTok is where all the Rapture stuff started.
Last week, Bethesda, a video game company, released a trailer for upcoming DLC for their game, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so as it turns out, the Rapture didn't happen, folks. We're all here.
And the Order of the Giants. And the trailer in question definitely triggered a certain portion of the internet. So let me play the trailer for you, and then take a guess as to who this rubbed the wrong way.
Huh. Nice place. You don't care much about these fascists, do you?
Yes, because Indiana Jones famously is pro-fascist. He's not Antifa, he is pro-fa, apparently. Now, some time has passed since that trailer went up, and Bethesda got backlash, and they took down the trailer. They capitulated to fascists.
That's wild. Wonder what they're saying now. Bipedal Meatbag, welcome. The Rapture happened, just that no one was worthy. There you go. Wonder what they're saying now. And most of chat, including the Poggers take.
Which is very embarrassing, but they released a new trailer, which is as apolitical as they could possibly make it. And I'm going to play that for you and then let you know how the fascists responded to this new trailer.
Impressive.
Nothing objectionable there, right? If you're a fascist or a Nazi, you can't possibly see that and think, oh, this is a microaggression, they're attacking me. And you'd be correct, but they're still mad because of what happened the last time they put up a trailer. And even though they deleted it, they're still out for blood. So let me show you some examples here. The Quartering responds saying, fire this person or face consequences.
Yeah, of course, the Quartering. Of course the Quartering would be angry about this. Indy was entirely anti-fascist. He started one of the greatest trends of all time. Ha! Indiana Jones literally punches Nazis. Yep. Are they rewriting Indy? I don't know if they're rewriting the whole thing, but they took down this trailer. Your company is populated with people who clearly hate me, and people like me. I'll never buy another Bethesda game, and I'll agitate at every opportunity that no one else does either. Yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of the point, right? Like, if you're a fascist and yeah, that's kind of on you, dude. What's the Quartering? No one important.
Broski says, your company is populated with people who clearly hate me and people like me. You're telling on yourself, Wolf. I'll never buy another Bethesda game again, and I'll agitate at every opportunity that nobody else does, neither. Bethesda, this was your official reply after everything that happened last week. You shouldn't have... This is so fucking... You show us your true colors. Don't support Xbox. Don't support Bethesda. Don't support Game Pass. Scumbags, you think this shit is funny? Understand, when you give these soulless bastards money, you're funding people who want you dead and think it's funny. You're absolutely fucking disgusting. Read the fucking room, not the one you're in filled with blue-haired freaks. The actual fucking room.
Amazing. What kind of thing is the quartering? I only know it as a way to tell the butcher how I want my chicken. The quartering is a right-wing YouTuber. That's when you tie a horse to each limb and think you see where this is going. Infamous was a weird game. I actually never got to play it.
This company supports murder, by the way. You haven't made a game worth playing since Skyrim anyway. Why did you delete this post? Isn't that what you wanted them to do? Microsoft, you can thank Bethesda for my cancellation. Kudos to the Bethesda team for showing their true colors. I've been a fan of your games for years. If this is how you feel about your customers, I'm going to make it my mission to destroy you. You have no fucking idea how angry we are. You will soon. Fuck Bethesda after your employees did from them. I'm assuming that they posted quotes from Charlie Kirk. Wild ratios you got going on there. It's almost like you deleted a post people didn't like. Oh wait, the internet never forget this. Purge your company of the rot. Deleting all your bullshit off my console now. You guys messed up big time. Say goodbye to your wallet. Hope you go out of business. That was incredible. So listen, it's certainly telling that conservatives are offended by this. In case they're not aware, canonically speaking, Indiana Jones has always been against Nazis and fascists. In fact, if you play the main game, the main villain is a Nazi. So it's hard to imagine why you would be offended by this game shit-talking fascists unless, of course, you yourself happen to be a little bit fash, maybe a tiny bit. Now, they did the same thing back in 2016.
Yeah, the only people angry about Indiana Jones being anti-fascist are fascists. Okay, again, we went over this yesterday. They love to play with words. They love to pretend oh, we're not fascist or anything like that. They love to play around with all this kind of stuff. But the only people that are upset about this are fascists. Okay, this has been the fact that Indiana Jones has been anti-fascist from the beginning is a known fact. This has been for since the inception.
When Wolfenstein 2 was released, they didn't like that fascism was portrayed as bad, and they clutched their pearls and shit their pants and frothed at the mouth and threw temper tantrums and tried to cancel the game because it portrayed Nazis and fascists negatively, and they don't like that Indiana Jones is...
So Life, welcome. I love Khan's energy and the repartee him and his wife have. Yeah, all of this self-reporting. Donald Duck, welcome.
Doing the same thing because maybe it hits a little bit too close to home. Maybe they see themselves as some of the individuals, the bad guys in particular, that Indiana Jones is fighting. Have they thought about that? Have they thought that getting offended at fascists being shit-talked kind of makes them look like fascists? I mean, if you were to get offended that somebody talked shit about a pedophile, you'd acknowledge that that's a bad look, right? Unless you yourself are a pedophile, because everybody can acknowledge collectively as a society that pedophiles are bad. But for you to be like, no, this is deeply offensive to me, for you to say that fascists are bad, you're telling on yourself. You're telling on yourself.
Yep. And they know
but
this.
Yet, if you were to call them fascists, they would also throw a temper tantrum.
Right. But they know all of this, right? They know. It's just this obfuscation that they try to do. Yeah, Profa. They know. Dude, welcome. They know. Are we the baddies?
That's bad. They'd say, nope, you can't call me that because we're not fascists, even though we do get offended when fascists are shit-talked and we're supporting a fascist president and we support fascist policies. Yeah, I guess the takeaway is if you don't want to be called a fascist, I think that avoiding things like this might help with the perception that you're trying to fight, right? Because if it walks like a duck, If it quacks like a duck, people are going to think it's a duck. And you being offended at the Nazis that Indiana Jones is fighting in this game, it makes you look like a duck. And by duck, I mean Nazi.
I just like the skull and crossbone insignia because they're cool, like Darth Vader. Yeah, zero self. Well, no. I take that back. They 100% know what they're doing, right? It's not like they don't know. It's not like they don't know. I have a vague idea they're openly declared they're going to Holocaust trans people and no one cared. I mean, these people definitely want trans people gone. It is very blatant. It's very, very obvious. AT makes a great addition to most panels. I mean, I love going on unfriendly panels. I love going on friendly panels. I've been on Left Past 10 several times. Well, I don't know if they consider that a panel show, but whatever. Big fan of friendly panels. All right. You know, we gotta kind of start light, because the stories that we have today, especially the main story, it's not great, folks. It's not great. So remember this clown? Oklahoma State Superintendent who ordered schools to teach Bible resigns to lead anti-teachers union group. So Ryan Walters, who somehow was made his way to the Oklahoma State Superintendent, has now resigned and is now going to dedicate his efforts to crush unions. Trans people are just at the top of a long list, FYI, 100%. I just saw a clip of Lucas explaining why kids love Darth Vader so much, and it's because it's a fantasy of being all powerful for people who normally feel powerless. Mike messed a goose step joke. Do you have a soundboard set up? Yes, but it's busted right now. It doesn't work. Let me try it. Well, the OBS stuff doesn't work. I think when I updated OBS, this is why this is so frustrating. It's like you update stuff and it doesn't work. Let's try this. Okay, well, the sound works, but the scene selection doesn't work. Oh well. Anyways, Oklahoma superintendent. Whoa, we're back. Ryan Walters announced on Wednesday yesterday that he would step down from his role overseeing the state school to lead the conservative group Teachers Freedom Alliance, which is wild. That we're going to destroy teachers unions with a conservative group called Teachers Freedom Alliance. Hey, folks, pay attention to this and keep this in mind. Write this down, because this may not be limited to Oklahoma. You may find chapters of Teachers Freedom Alliance opening up in a red state near you, in an attempt to destroy teachers unions. So keep that in mind, folks. Keep this name in mind. I love how like conservative groups always have names like this. Freedom Alliance. And it's just like the opposite. It's just literally the opposite. Any group with freedom in their name is automatically sus. Yep. The not fascist or racist group of America. Yeah, I don't know why my thing isn't working. I mean, at least I have the sounds. So, it is what it is. OBS has just been wild. And I like OBS, by the way. Vicky Klee, welcome. The announcement from Walters, a conservative Republican who pushed to incorporate teaching about the Bible into public classrooms, caps off a contentious tenure marked by willingness to embrace culture war issues. We have seen the teachers union use money and power to corrupt our schools, to undermine our schools. We are one of the biggest grassroots organizations in the country. I doubt that, but again, this is something to pay attention to, because it's not, if they can launch successful attacks on teachers unions, if they can launch successful attacks on teachers unions they're going to probably expand this effort. Teachers Freedom Alliance confirmed Walter's new role as CEO, saying that he fearlessly fights the woke liberal union mob. But yeah, totally, the Republican Party is the party of pro-worker. How long before he has a spot on a right-wing show? About 5 seconds. State Attorney General Gentner Drummond, a Republican, slammed Walters in a statement after the announcement, saying in a post to Twitter that Walters' appointment as superintendent led to a stream of never-ending scandal and political drama. I mean, yeah, I guess that's one way of putting it. Calling him an embarrassment to our state. It's time for the state superintendent of public instruction who will actually focus on quality instruction for public schools. I mean, like, hey man, that's your circus, bro. These are your clowns. These are your clowns, man. Randy Weingarten, the president of American Federation of Teachers, said in a statement that today is a good day for Oklahoma's kids. Any educator worth their salt understands it's impossible to educate students if you don't support teachers. Walters didn't do that in Oklahoma, and now at a time we need to bring the country together, he's trying to export his divisive rhetoric nationally. Yep. So pay attention to this stuff, folks. Pay attention. They love the poorly educated. True. In fact, it's necessary. Fox News glazed this dude for no friggin' reason. I saw the clip today. Oof. They make woke seem so much cooler than it really is. Yep. As the state's top education official, Walters generated controversy for ordering schools to include the Bible in the curriculum and pushing to require families prove that their U.S. citizenship in order to enroll their children in public schools, a thing that's not supposed to be required. Just days ago, he announced partnership with Turning Point USA, of course, vowing that high schools in the state would have chapters of the conservative group co-founded by conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Walter said in his announcement on Twitter that radical leftists with teachers unions dominate classrooms and push woke indoctrination of our kids. Of course, we don't know what that means. What it means is things I don't like. Walters has wanted to put God back in schools because reasons. God doesn't belong in schools at all, actually. and called the separation of church and state a myth. I mean, that's pretty much all you need to know about this guy. Last summer, a sheriff's office investigated an alleged incident at the State Board of Education meeting in which board members reported they saw images of naked women on television screen in Walters' office. The Oklahoman, according to the Oklahoman, Walters called the board members' accounts desperate lies, and Oklahoma prosecutor declined to file criminal charges. So, I mean, cool. Yeah. Is this the Sooner Gooner story? Yes. Except in this case, he's retiring from his public goonery, displaying prawn in public. And simultaneously also trying to put God back in the classroom, and is now redirecting his efforts to fight unions. I love when the trash takes itself out. And soon ex-Gooner. Too many science teachers objecting to be forced to teach Christian creationism. Yeesh. You know, I'm not surprised if, like, that starts to become a thing. You know, it's funny. I had a friend, who went to, like, Catholic school, and, like, evolution just wasn't taught. And that just, like, that just blew me away. Flabbergasted. Yeah, almost like we went through a very similar fight with the dumbest people alive before. We meaning really our ancestors historically. Yeah, I get you. Justice Department is suing 6 states for failing to turn over voter registration rolls. Why? Reasons. Bad Lefty, welcome. That's on the level of never getting around to even mentioning the concept of the periodic table of elements' existence and significance, or the atomic model. Yep. Catholic schools in the UK are some of the hardest to get into and very well regarded. They have to teach the national curriculum, so there's no nonsense regarding creationism in science classes. That's wild. That's wild. Creationism has been getting taught. They've been teaching that in Earth is 6,000 years old and flat across the former Confederacy. I mean, I've had my education in the South, but then again, this was many moons ago. I would say a minute and a half ago, and thankfully, it wasn't like that. It wasn't that bad. I mean, like compared to what Florida is now. Yeah, I would be worried. I would be worried. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you go to Florida schools and they're doing this exact same thing, Nadia. This different times. Then again, I also went to public school, not like a private Christian school. So that's different. But this wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm teaching the kids of people I also taught. You are younger than those parents. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, it feels like it was. It was a lifetime ago for me. Okay? It was a lifetime ago for me. I'm a triple threat. You got blue and purple. Nice. The Justice Department on Thursday today sued 6 states for what it said it was for what it said was their refusal to turn over statewide voter registration lists sought by the Attorney General. The suits were filed against the top election officials in California, of course, Michigan, Minnesota, New York, of course, New Hampshire, and Pennsylvania, and alleged the moves not to provide the voter registration rolls violate federal law. Clean voter rolls are the foundation of free and fair elections, Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a statement. I mean, like, please, let's dispense with all this nonsense. They don't care about free and fair elections. Every state has a responsibility to ensure that voter registration records are accurate, accessible, and secure. States that don't fulfill that obligation will see the Department of Justice in court, which, of course, it's not their, this is wild. There's no evidence that there's anything wrong with these voter rolls. If anything, there should be more scrutiny on Republican states that purge voter rolls without reason. I've been teaching for 26 years, so I guess that's a lifetime. They're teaching it directly out of the Bible in public schools all over the Confederacy. Yikes. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've engaged in the public education system. But scary, scary stuff. I mean, Texas controls most of the curriculum, right? All the stuff flows out of Texas. The suits filed in federal court in each state seek to force the election officials to provide all voter information contained in the registration rolls, including names, birth dates, driver's license numbers, and partial social security numbers. The Justice Department claimed that the failure to turn over the rolls prevents the Attorney General from determining whether states are following the list maintenance requirements in federal law known as the Help America Vote Act. It has already sued Oregon, and Maine for failing to provide information on procedures for maintaining their voter lists and copies of statewide voter registration rolls. I mean, this is absurd. Absurd. Bondi requested the information from states earlier this year to examine whether states were complying with components of the voting rights laws. In some instances, the state officials expressed concern about handing over voter registration lists and other information. Because they have no business in it. There's no reason for this. California State Secretary, for example, raised privacy protections to the Justice Department in response to its request for voter information. The top lawyer for Minnesota Secretary of State said the department did not identify any legal basis that would entitle it to the state voter registration roll. I mean, like, just on and on. This is highly illegal and highly concerning that they want to get these voter rolls for no reason. Stuff we got to keep our eye out, folks. Oh crap. I feel like we should probably I don't know how much of this clip I can show. I mean, maybe if I just like talk over it, it should be fine. Pam is mad that so many brown people voted. Yep. That's what the problem is. Too many people voting. Hey, so this just happened, and of course we don't really know why this kind of stuff is happening. And if anything we can derive from this is that it's pretty irregular. A bunch of blue states broke with Texas over the Neo-Confederacy in the books. Oh, thank goodness. Again, I haven't engaged with the public education system in quite a minute and a half. So yeah, I have no idea. So this is concerning. I mean, like, up until recently, and I mean recently, what I mean by recently is like recent history, within like a generation or two, they were still teaching about the lost cause and the War of Northern Aggression as part of like the Civil War history. So I mean, I agree. I just don't know how stuff is right now. But yeah, it's scary stuff. Let's see how much we can actually get away with this. Hopefully, we don't get dinged for it. But hey,
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has summoned hundreds of the U.S.'s military generals and admirals.
So the TLDR of this is that he is summoning a lot of the top commanders, like everywhere from like 4-star to 1-star generals to admirals and high. What my point is, I'm sorry if I get the nomenclature wrong, but my point is a lot of high-ranking people, and for what reason we have no idea. Is this normal? No, but we really don't know what's happening here. They're still in Bama.
To gather for an impromptu summit in Virginia next week, and no one knows why.
Welcome, Michael Hassler.
The surprise and rare directive, which was first reported by the Washington Post, comes months after Hegseth's team at the Pentagon announced plans to undertake a sweeping consolidation of top military command.
Yeah, so like we just don't know like if this means that if this means that either they're gonna try to purge anyone who doesn't go with this MAGA stuff because they know what's happening. They know that there might be people in high command that might disagree and might revolt. So maybe the purpose of the meeting is to try to suss that out and stamp out whoever is against the regime before the boot comes down, so to speak. Maybe it's about as Looney Tunes. Maybe it's about as Looney Tunes as trying to figure out who is the woke DEI hire that needs to be fired, right? Because they're a woman or maybe they're brown. I don't know. It could be anything from like, because we're dealing with like a Fox News host, okay, acting as Department of Secretary or the Department of War, I guess now. It could be anything from some clown shoes level stuff like that. To the darkest scenario where they're just literally telling everybody we're preparing for martial law, and at this point everyone either needs to get in line or we will be releasing you from your duty, and that's it. Or they're planning a new war, maybe World War III, maybe martial law. I mean, U.S. wide. Yeah, any of that could be possible. That they're laying the plans for something like that. Loyalty test, yeah, exactly. Who knows? Or maybe it's a big nothing. I genuinely don't know. But however, it is very concerning that they're trying to make this happen. And it's also very concerning that it involves every like high level high level person. I mean, regardless, it's probably at least, the least is a complete waste of time of tax and taxpayer dollars. So, I mean, like, yeah, I guess a keg party. There you go. A keg party. I mean, that would be quite the keg party. But yeah. the entire BRICS bloc just did a huge amount of dollar dumping. Oof. These fucks would be gratuitously pointless and wasteful, but not going to stop them making a big show. Yeah, maybe that is. Maybe it's just fear. Maybe it's like, oh, they're getting all the big people together. Everyone needs to be scared. I don't know. I just genuinely don't know. I do know, however, that this is very, very unusual, and this just doesn't happen. This kind of stuff just doesn't happen. That's about as much as I can glean from this.
Joining us now, NBC News senior correspondent covering national security and the Pentagon, Courtney Kube. Courtney, have you gotten any clarification, any better idea of what exactly is prompting this?
Yeah, Katie, this is really shrouded in secrecy, and it is really, we can't say it is completely unprecedented, but we spent the last several hours trying to find any precedent for this and simply can't find it.
Wait, so by definition, that is unprecedented. Please, God. Please, media. Please. This is not the... whatever. I'm expecting too much from mainstream media. I mean, like, well, I don't want to say it's unprecedented, but we can't find any precedent of this being the case. Sure. Please continue.
Notion that the Secretary of Defense would bring potentially hundreds of general officer and flag officers from all over the world together for a meeting like this is extremely, extremely uncommon. And for a number of different...
Or another way of putting it, unprecedented? Defines a word that describes the situation accurately and say it's phenomenal. Actually, like, to watch that in real time is actually fantastic. Is actually phenomenal to watch. It's amazing. Like, we can't say it's unprecedented. However, we couldn't find a precedent of where this happened. I mean, like, Night of the Long Knives. Who knows? Maybe this could be some really dark stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just some clown shoes level stuff. Shouldn't they zoom in rather than grouping up in the Capitol? I don't know. That's what makes this very kind of weird. That's what makes this weird, Pirate Ninja. That it's not like a meeting, like that you could just host on Zoom and say like, hey, we're having our quarterly whatever meeting with all the high ranks. No, they're bringing them. They're trying to get them physically, to meet. So that's the kind of weird stuff that's happening. And the worst spidey senses are tingling. Yeah, there's been several folks in chat who have expressed this. The generals are getting their alien probe. So just like Handmaid's Tale, got it. America!
Reasons. For one, these are people who have really busy day jobs, so bringing them here for something is difficult, especially on such short notice. But what's really also got a lot of people scratching their heads here today, Katie, is the idea that the agenda or what he wants to speak to these men and women about seems to be such a secret. Even officials who we are speaking to who are planning to attend this event don't really know what they're coming in to talk about, Katie.
Courtney, when people are summoned from overseas to come back home, I know it's not precedented, but in an instance where you do get something akin to this, where maybe it's just a few or a handful, or what is it normally about? Is there a normal?
Yeah, insisting
version?
They jump might be the point, right? The worst people alive have a common tendency to place a great priority on pomp and circumstance, elevating form over substance, befitting children of the lie. It's an intervention for Pete. Maybe. Hey, come back.
Combatant commanders periodically.
Is there a normal version of this?
So on a much smaller scale, the secretary will bring in the combatant commanders periodically, usually once a quarter or so, and they'll talk through issues in each of their areas. He'll bring together the chiefs much more frequently than that. So bringing together senior leaders, that in and of itself is not uncommon, but it's just the magnitude of this. If in fact this includes most, if not all, of the 3 stars, 4 stars 2-stars, and even most of the 1-star generals and flag officers from across all of the military services. We are talking about potentially hundreds of men and women, again, from all over the world. That's what really stands out here. Katie, this is a logistical giant hurdle to bring them.
Yeah, and so again, I ask, why is the question, right? It's way too heavy and reasonable for this motley crew of scumbag and villains. Yep. If you play a clip of that song, I have to go listen to it in its entirety. It's Pavlovian. I'm sorry. Someone said it. I had the clip. I had the soundboard. I had to do it. So yeah, I mean, like, look, hey, this could all be nothing. Yeah, all gathered in on a very convenient place. Yeah, this could all be like a very big nothing. Or this could be something a lot more darker. And the reason why I kind of want to preface that, because these are just connections that I'm making. So just to be clear, these are connections that I'm making. I'm not saying that this is the reason why. This is pure hypothesis. This is pure speculation. But it kind of is concerning, given the context of where the political landscape that we find ourselves in, especially when we have stuff like this. I mean, you know, one could speculate that perhaps, as some folks in chat have said, maybe perhaps laying the groundwork for some kind of crackdown for the boot to finally come down. In the real sense, you know. Again, this is just me connecting dots. This is not. We just don't know the reason why. It's just A, very strange, B, unprecedented, and C, it's a bit odd and concerning. That they would have all these high-ranking people show up for no reason? Question mark. Yeah, and this is just the first year. Yeah, there's a reason they don't all meet. So yeah, I mean, this could be a way to suss out the loyalists and prepare, you know, whoever is left to do the whole, you know, martial law stuff. Who knows? Maybe it's nothing. Like, if hypothetically some entity, surely none of these exist, wanted to disrupt the entire U.S. military command structure in one fell swoop, this isn't the platonic deal you'd serve. This isn't the platonic deal you'd serve on such an opportunity for them on a silver platter. I mean, that's another speculation. That's a pretty good point. That is a pretty good point. The White House has issued their official executive order designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. Unfortunately, you can't. There's no such thing as domestic terrorist organization. We don't. That is reserved for foreign terror groups. So first off, second off, Antifa is not a group per se. It is an ideology. They are left wing, and they are the ideology is literally in their name. They're anti-fascist. So again, I ask, what kind of government would designate an anti-fascist ideology as domestic terrorism? Yeah. Antifa is a militaristic, anarchist enterprise, phenomenal, that explicitly calls for the overthrow of the United States government, law enforcement authorities, and our system of law. No, it stands for anti-fascist. Now, if your government and your law enforcement and your system of laws is a fascist state, then yes, they would be calling for the fascist state to go. Kind of telling, as Mike said earlier, kind of telling on yourselves. It uses illegal means to organize and execute a campaign of violence and terrorism nationwide to accomplish these goals. What terrorism? What campaign of violence? Unclear. This campaign involves coordinated efforts to obstruct enforcement of federal laws through armed standoff with law enforcement. I've yet to see this, but okay. Organized riots. I have never seen an Antifa organized riot. It is now illegal to record ICE now to tell people their rights and to protest in their name. The Constitution is gone. This whole system is a ghost. For 10 points, is it a fascist one? Ding, 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 ding. Violent assaults on immigration and custom enforcement and other law enforcement officers. Unclear what this means because Antifa, like if you're talking about protesters who are protesting this fascist government, that doesn't mean they're Antifa operatives, okay? That's not a thing. And routine doxing and other threats against political figures and activists. You mean like, libs of TikTok? Antifa recruits, trains, and radicalizes young Americans to engage in this violence. Where? I have no idea. This is news to me. And engage in violence and suppression of political activity that employs elaborate means and mechanisms to shield identities of its operatives, conceals its funding sources, and operates in an effort to frustrate law enforcement and recruit additional members. Individuals associated with and acting on behalf of Antifa further coordinate with other organizations and entities for the purpose of spreading, fomenting, and advancing political violence and suppressing lawful political speech. What? How? There's literally people taking others off the street and people not sure if there's ICE or any other or not, and hardly any mainstream coverage. This organization efforts designed to achieve policy objectives by coercion and intimidation as domestic terrorism. Designation as a domestic terrorist organization because of the aforementioned pattern of political violence. An aforementioned pattern, you didn't say anything. Like, there's no, like, we have no examples of how this even is being carried out. Like, who is the leader of Antifa? Like, how do we know if somebody's Antifa? Because of the aforementioned pattern of, this is nothing. I hereby designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. Again, that's not a thing. Next, they're going to go after an imaginary terrorist enterprise called Anti-Warfa. Especially those involved in terrorist actions conducted by Antifa. This order shall be implemented with consistent with applicable law. This order is not intended to or does not create any right or benefit or substantial procedural enforceable or law. So it's not nothing, but it is the point to show that they plan or they want to suppress opposition, okay? Because anyone who's anti-fascist is Antifa. Like, Antifa isn't a group. Antifa means anti-fascist. That's what it means. Looney Tunes, welcome. Beery, welcome. Might as well start pouring sugar in ICE vehicle gas tanks. I'll lead if you need a leader. We're all Antifa. We're all Antifa leaders. Everyone is Antifa. This is pretty concerning for a number of things because, again, this doesn't, like, there's no such thing as a domestic terrorist organization. That you can't designate that. That's not a thing. However, I feel like they're going to try to crack down as much as humanly possible on political opposition. I saw a video that somebody put saying that this is in response, possibly in response to the No Kings protest. So folks, be safe, protect yourselves. If it's all terrorism anyways, why not? And folks, this is the time. This is the time to stand up. This is the time to stand up. Yes, Vicky Klee. This is the time to stand up. They're designating opposition. They're designating opposition as terrorists. They're designating trans people for existing as terrorists, as a extremist ideology or whatever. This is all laying the groundwork for ultimately what they want to do, this is the time to stand up. This is the time to say, yes, we are anti-fascist. Okay, well, we're still able to speak. All of us, This is the time to say, yes, we are all anti-fascist. This is not going to fly. We are all anti-fascist. If you are a fascist, fuck off. Everyone should be anti-fascist. And this is the message that we need to get normies on board with. Okay? Antifa is not some scary, obscure group. Okay? If you're not on board with fascism, congratulations, you are anti-fascist. I mean, who knows? Maybe this executive order and trying to designate trans people as terrorists, trying to designate left-wing people as terrorists, trying to get all these generals in one place. All of it spells bad news, folks. I'm not going to lie. But who knows? We'll keep an eye out on this kind of stuff. Now's the time. Now's the time to speak loud. Now's the time to speak loud. I saw a story of a bartender that kicked a Nazi out because if you let them in, their Nazi friends will come and you'll become a Nazi bar. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. All right, folks. I got to get out of here. Not only was the Second Amendment for this, but I remember a passage stating how people can overthrow the government if it fails to serve the needs of the people, but it's also illegal. Yep. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. It's my time to get out of here. Do all the stuff, folks. It's we're gonna do a quick exit. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hasser, for modding the chat. Do all the stuff and all the things, all the links. I gotta get out of here. One more thing. Why is this Carlos character mocking my executive orders? I only do the best executive orders. I'm in Germany and not a citizen there yet, so I'm keeping my head down and mouth shut. Mostly keeping up with YouTube is for news. Gotcha. Well, stay safe out there. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ground Level News. I want a refund. If only I could laugh. I mean, that's all we have. That's all we have. That's all we have, folks. We'll be back on Tuesday. On Tuesday. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all and hope to see you guys in the next one. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. See ya. Oh, wait. I didn't even click on it. Come on. Bye-bye. Pro streamer moment. Look at that. All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. You made it to the raid wave. Hang tight, folks. See ya. I know, it's a short stream. I'm sorry. Things will be back to normal next week. See ya.